Well, everyone, thank you so much for your patience. We had some major technical difficulties, but we are ready and live. So we will go ahead and get started. Today, we are learning how to prepare for adventure on NatHab's Botswana Explorer Safari. And I will go ahead and dive right on in. So, Lemmy, if you want to go ahead and take over, just let me know when you want me to move forward on the slides. We will go from there, but it's all you.
All right, great. Thank you, Brooke. All right, good evening from my end, and good afternoon from wherever part of the world you are. Um, I would like to take this moment and thank you guys for making time to be available for this webinar regarding Know Before You Go. This is considerably trips that are taking place in Botswana. And thank you and apologies for the delay. But we're ready to get on to it. All right, the next one there, Brooke. Next slide. All right. My name is Lemmy once again, and I'm from Botswana, but more in the southwestern part of the country, in a semi-arid area. But I grew up in Maun, where Maun is your gateway into the Okavango Delta, and then the salt pans, which in the desert, the Kalahari Desert. So growing up in Maun, developed that passion, that love for wildlife, and I got lucky that I kept that. And today I call myself one of the conservationists and naturalists within the country, and I've been with NatHab for about 9 years now. Right, next one. Next slide there, Brooke. All right, so imagine a place where rhythm of nature dictates time. This is what happens when you're out on an African safari, where breathtaking landscapes meet unparalleled wildlife encounters. And for those who are maybe that have signed up for the trips that are coming up from May, as you will get to witness that yourself. So a vacation, when you think of this, a vacation is more like it's not more like a vacation. It's more like an immersive journey that you engage in to touch some of Botswana's unparalleled wildlife areas or encounters. All right, next one there. So yeah, that's just to give you a sense of place. Once you leave the towns, the cities that you live in, and come into the African Botswana wilderness, you disconnect to connect, and basically you are in dark places, but safe to live in. Nothing would take you away because we are here to make it safe for you anytime, any day, wherever you will be. So that's basically what it looks like once you leave the city and you come to connect with nature. Our adventures are mainly done also in terms of trying to conserve what we have for future generations. So for you traveling with us, you try to support all the wildlife conservation and the local communities that we have within here. So thanks to you once again. Then the next slide is going to show is just to give you a slight understanding on areas you'll be, which I've said it's more in the northern part of the country. That blue illustration that you see in there, that's the Okavango Delta, the mighty Okavango, the largest inland delta. And this is where most of our excursions take place. And then further down south, which would be more on your right side, the orangish part, that's the salt flats, which are as another geophysical feature that are very dominant within the northern part of the country. And our excursions continue to go into such places, into the Makadi salt flats. So our journeys usually they start from, if you see there's on the Okavango Delta, there's like three lines. These are fault lines which have helped to shape up the Okavango Delta. So if you go further to the last fault line, which is on the south. That's where you get Maun. That's your gateway into the Okavango Delta. So when you arrive, that's where you'd arrive into, and then He will take you from there, get to the first camp, which is known as Menakwana, which is usually a drive from there to the camp towards the salt flats. That's about an hour, 30 minutes drive. Then from there, that's when you get to be on fixed wings, and then you explore part of the delta in the northern part. Further towards the first line that you see is so it's written Gumare Fort. That's another fault line that has helped shape up the Okavango Delta. So that's where you would see um, abundance of game within the Okavango Delta. And Okavango Delta is more of an oasis and very diverse with wildlife. So on to the next slide there, we have, oh yeah, ever wonder what to pack for your safari? From seasonal essential and activity specific gear. We're very lucky that you traveling with NATAB, you are able to be given that access to gear that you can choose from. So the the gear depends on what day it is like. So from May, that's our winter season, until about July. And so whatever you're going to be given by NATAP or whatever you're going to purchase, it should be something that will keep you comfortably warm in the mornings. The mornings can be very chilly. I mean, considering sometimes you'll be on the vehicle and it's moving. So that means you get a lot of wind, cold wind. So though the camps also, they provide ponchos, which is a blanket layer with a windbreaker that will help you keep warm. And then we have what we call the bush babies. Those are hot water bottles that you take with on the drive. So the good thing about the native gear is that, as you can see, the gloves, if you're a photographer, it allows you to be able to take pictures still. Then you've got the beanie, the buff, and then this sleeveless sweater or fleece, and then you get the jacket. And then before you start the trip, 60 days before you start the trip, the pre-departure booklet that gives you an idea of what to take with when you start your journey. So you can pick on those, and knowing that okay, this will be comfortable for you during this period until about August. You have to keep warm. And then you see, and then the next slide, you see during the day you have to wear a hat, and then okay, NetApp has got that access to that gear that you can still keep away from the sun, blistering sun out in the salt flats or up in the Okavango Delta. So, and then another thing to take into consideration is before you start your travel from your end, we prefer, because your flights are usually, you start big and you end small. So our flights here, aeroplanes that we use are 12-seater planes that for luggage, considering luggage, you have to have a soft duffel bag. It's about 54 inches linear. It's about 38 by 24 by 14 inches, so that it's easy to fit into the pod when we move camps. All right, so the fixed planes are they're 12 seaters, and the beauty of it is you're not going to be sitting on the plane for too long. The transfers are usually between 30 and 40 minutes from camp to camp. And then some other places like the salt flats, when you move from one camp to another, sometimes the next slide, Brooke, you use the helicopter, which usually takes about 3 people at a go, and then there'll be one to take the luggage with. That's also just okay. There's a bag that's would be a typical safari duffel bag to take with. So this will fit in any pod, even if you go on a helicopter, you still be able to have everything that you've packed with to fit in there. And yes, let's talk about the flights that you're taking, which you see the port there is not as big. This bag, this duffel bag, is able to fit in there without any hassle. On the next one there, Brooke. So you see, just landed in Maui Airport and ready to start your adventure without knowing what exactly to expect out there. We've got this single turboprop planes that are very reliable in the Okavango Delta, that they can land anywhere. Yeah, so that's the pilot, and then the guys that are ready to go on an adventure, they've got their backpacks. Native again, they also have backpacks that you can get from or call the office to confirm how you can get the gear, the duffel bag and the backpacks. They can sponsor all that or provide that. So below on this plane, that's where you fit your luggage, and then inside is a 12-seater plane, excluding the pilot and the load master. Like I was saying, the flights are usually about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on which camp you're going to. Then, since you touched on in Maun, and if you have to start at Manakwena, it's a drive. We go on mini buses, which you guys know it as a van, but we call them mini buses. You see me there with standing by one, and with a monkey, a baboon right on top of my head, trying to catch a lift with us. Onto the next one, they broke, trying to catch a ride with us. If you see it there, so those are the buses we use for your comfort. During the day, it's all air conditioned, and we get to areas that are not too rugged on the roads, so this is more comfortable to get in. And then once we shift gears from the salt pans to the Okavango Delta, it's again on the airplane, and then from there we don't use the vans anymore. It's all open vehicles, being the jeeps or the Land Cruiser that have got a 6-seater that allows everyone to have a window seat. If we look at the next slide, you'll be able to tell what kind of a vehicle I'm talking about. It has got like a panoramic view, 360-degree view when you're driving. And the good thing, some places during this time of the year when it's not too hot, they can remove the roof, and you can see even at night the skies and all that. So our groups are not really that big that it allows every traveler to occupy the window seat, so no one sits in the middle. In the middle, so you can store your gear, and then you're able to shift around to take pictures or see whatever that's being spotted out on the drive or the transfer to camp. And you see there, I've got a close up of the seats. See how comfortable the seats are. It's more like bucket seats. You have a comfort sitting in there. If you look at the next slide, you see how it's all the layout of the vehicle there. It's all open for everyone to have that access to anything that might be spotted, whether you're a birder or you're a photographer. That gives you that allowance to see whatever object or subject it's out there. And then also some other parts where there's water between the camps. The other mode of transport that we would use is boats. We have boats as well. That again, the way it's been set up is you still have access to be on the window seat. That nothing stands on your way. So that'll be on your next slide. You'll be able to see that. And the boats usually would take about six packs at most. And then if it's a larger group of maybe a group of 12, then we'll have two boats or two land cruisers to do all our activities or our transfers between the camps. And then so camps, you might be wondering what do camps look like? It says we try to have less footprints out there into the wild. So our camps are built in such a way that if today we decide to demolish the camp, you come back next year, you won't even believe that there was ever a camp in that certain area or that particular area. So we use timber, and it's all treated so that termites don't affect it anyhow. So everything is all wooden, and then the rooms have got canvas around, canvas lining. This is it accesses the wall and keeps everything away. No baboons, no monkeys can break into the tent unless you leave your door open. That's when they can come in. This what you see here is mainly your common area where all activities before you start from camp take place. That's your meals, which is something you get to see. Once you sign up for these trips and you make it to this side, you can never go hungry. We always have something for you to eat. So basically, 5 to 6 meals a day. So every 2 hours of of, um, of the day, you get to see them. You can see the difference in the way the camps are built. So that was the first slide. There was a different camp, and then this is another camp in the northern part of the Okavango Delta that we utilize every now and then, and see, depending on the weather. If it's raining, you can always close in and stay inside, and you won't get wet. And then so the evenings, again, we've got good light that you're able to see all that. If you go into the rooms you have lots of ventilation. Yeah, there's blinds that you, even when you're resting during siesta, you're able to see anything that's moving outside. So at night, you might get some elephants visiting, you might hear some lions roaring, which again is something that we take into consideration when you plan the trip. If you're a light sleeper and any sound can wake you up, we urge you to bring some earbuds, so that you keep the noise away and you're able to sleep. So the next slide is just show you see the room, how it's all just the slide layout that gives you the view even when you're resting. And then the rooms are all en suite, so you don't have to go outside to use the bathroom. Everything is all in there. Once you go inside, then you're done. And then because Botswana, yeah, during summer is very hot. So now, and also trying to be um, sensitive to the environment, they've installed solar panels, which also are powered. They power our air conditioning. So most rooms they've got air conditioning that if it's too hot, you can always adjust that to your comfortable temperature or to your liking. Right. So like I said, like when you're in camp, you've got siesta, and then if you don't want to stay in your room, you can go out to the main area. Usually the camps would have a communal swimming pool. That's where you can leisure around there and then enjoy yourself, or maybe sit and read a book. There's also mini libraries within the camp, so you can pick a book and see what you are interested in. That's on the next slide. That's where you see you can cool off if you're too hot during the day. There's a swimming pool if you enjoy the water, and again, it still gives you that view. Sometimes elephants would come and drink from there without any hesitation. They don't care about the chlorine. We don't know even how it treats them, but they should be fine because they keep coming back. All right. So, like I've mentioned, camp it's got its own ambience compared to being outside. When you're in the camp, you've got fireplace, and in the evenings you can get those that beautiful sunset, and then at night is also quite nice sitting around the fireplace. Imagine that, sitting by a campfire and relaxing, catching up, and absorbing what you've seen during the day, which is something that you get to see on that next slide. It gives you that, so you are sitting, you're waking up in the morning, and you witness the bush awakening, like from the prowling predators to the golden hues of sunrise. Imagine that life. And I'm sure some of you are already like wanting to be here right now at this very moment. So that'll be a typical morning when you wake up, the sunrise, and some coffee and some cereal. Sit around the fire, keep warm before you start getting cold on the vehicle. Well, we've got those hot water bottles. Those will help very much indeed. And then the next slide also shows you that we we blend in with nature anywhere you can be. You can have your meals everywhere, anyway. It's considered safe. We always try and select those areas where we know no predator is anywhere close by, and we encounter anything. And having an open area, it's a lot easier for you to see what's out there. So this is us. We're just sitting having a brunch, which I mean, these are some of the other activities that are, or extra going the signature activity, where instead of sitting in the camp, or eating in the camp. You go out and then set up and have your brunch or lunch before you go back to camp where you'll have your siesta. Then again, it's it's those small touches that changes the whole thing. It's not just about be out in the wild, but also you can do other activities like enjoying your brunch, your sunset out there to see how every animal behaves when they are on their natural habitat. All right. So on the next one again, in the salt pans, which is another region that we cover, sometimes instead of sitting out in the camp and having your drink, you can be out here in an open, vast land that is untouched and have your gin and tonic, which is a safari drink. And those are going to be, maybe one of you might be lucky, is going to be with me end of this month. And you'll get to know about the safari drink, which is the gin and tonic. And again, food. It's food, food, food. So before you leave camp in the afternoon, there is high tea, which depending on which camp you are at, some camps you get more natural that you don't have. You sit on the floor to enjoy your high tea. So if you look on the next slide there, it's just a typical picture of being what shows you that every camp is different. They offer something different. The other camp we have high tea in a different style, but then the other ones will give you something that vibe more of an English style setup. So we some of the things we offer within when you're out on our safari. And then how about enjoying or having dinner under the African night sky and seeing all those hundreds of thousands of stars in a clear night sky, moonless night. That's what you're gonna get on the next slide. It's just breathtaking to be able to experience all this in an area that's very quiet and peaceful. All you can hear is just the sounds of the wild, elephants, bee, jackals, animals that are active at night, and you're having dinner in a setup like that. So I'm just going to give you run you through a typical day, what it looks like, and the times this will be different, but yeah. So wake up usually this because of winter, the days are shorter, so the light comes up slightly late, so that's why we do our wake ups around 5:45, maybe 6 o'clock. But if you come or ever happen to be on a summer uh, trip, then the times change to about 5 o'clock wake up, so that you can catch all the night active animals before they go back to sleep. So this is a typical day, what it looks like, but it's not always guaranteed. So even though you have like coffee, this is where you stretch your legs, and then you have coffee or tea out on the game drive, and be back at the camp between 11 and after 11. It does not matter. Our days are really controlled by what we see out there. If you remember from the start of this presentation, I was asking, imagine a place where the rhythm of nature dictates time. So that's what it is like. We never have time to anything. It just depends on what the animals are offering in that particular day, and then everything can change. But still, having said, it does not mean that we will force you to come out. If you feel like, you know what, today I think I'm going to stay behind and relax and absorb what I've been enjoying all this time, you are still very welcome to do so anytime, any day. So our activities, they go on throughout the day, and meals in between, afternoon game drives. Then you have sundowner, the cocktails. Then you're back in camp around 7:30, dinner anytime. And we're very flexible when we're out there. If you want to have dinner early as a group, it's still fine. We'll cater for that. And then you can have a bedtime early. It's all really entirely up to you how you want it. All right, so I will now jump into the activities that go on during the day, depending on what area you're in. So obviously, if we talk boats, and we have to think of what? Of the Okavango Delta. So this is a boat activity which, depending again on how the day has been or the day before has been, you can either do the boat in the morning or in the late afternoons. Late afternoons, obviously, you're going to be lucky to capture the sunset, but you always have to be out of the water before it gets too dark so that you move away from the hippos before they take over the channels to go out and graze. So that's one of the activities. The activities in the Okavango Delta are very diverse. So that's one of them. That's boat cruising within the Okavango Delta. See what you can find. If you're lucky, you might get some elephants crossing within the floodplains. Then the other activity that comes up is you move away from everything, from the boat engine, from the Land Cruiser sound. You feel the tranquility of the Okavango Delta. This here, ladies and gentlemen, is known as a mokoro. Mokoro is more like a canoe, and this one we use, instead of using paddles, we use poling sticks. So mokoro is controlled by a poler who it sits only two people. And then the poler is the one who takes care of everything. He stabilizes the mokoro, and he's also the engine and the brains behind the activity. So this is where you have a chance to engage with some of the local stuff, where they'll take you on Mokoro and you explore what you can find in the waters, like small frogs, the frogs the size of your thumb. But they're known as painted reed frogs, and then also birds. You might get a lot of birds around. And then, if you're lucky, big game, you might see elephants crossing. And this are usually done in areas where it's very safe from hippos and crocodiles. So the waters are usually not that deep, probably around about a waist deep. And then the Okavango waters are very spectacular that you are able to see what's underwater. They're very clear. Okavango Delta, like as mentioned, has got a lot of it's got a very diverse biodiversity. There is about from the top of my head, about 1,200 plant species that we get within the Okavango Delta, which is more than the plant life within the Amazon, which empties into the ocean. But here, the Okavango Delta ends into the sands. So a lot of the waters come in with a lot of sediments, which are very good for plants to grow in, and so this helps to filter the water. That's why it becomes so clear that it looks like your gin and tonic, if you've had a gin and tonic before. So, and then interaction with the local communities. Again, we have Botswana has the largest population of the Bushmen or the San tribe. So, some of the camps you're lucky to come across this magnificent tribe who are believed to be the first inhabitants in Botswana about tens of thousands years ago. And then their rock paintings are evidence to that the rock paintings are over 6,000 years old in the northern part of the country. So staying at one of the camps that are within the itinerary, which is more in the salt pens, we have the families of Bushmen that will take you out on an activity just to try and bring you closer to nature and to showcase how we used to live back in the day. So they go out digging out scorpions to play with them. As you can see this guy here, unafraid, totally. This guy is so adapted to the wilderness in a different way that I've never seen anywhere. And it's all love. It's all love. That's how they do it, and they've survived so many years just being out there. So and then on the next one, obviously we get the land cruiser, an open land cruiser, where again with the panoramic view, you can sit at the top there and be the great spotter. Because being higher, then you can see a lot more than being on the lower side of the vehicle. So this our vehicles, folks, are actually easy get in and get out. So, but if you're not able to go in, we also carry steps with us from outside that you can use to go into this land cruises, so that it's easy for everyone to be able to jump in anytime they want. So that, and then encounters with wildlife, we try and be in areas that are animals are more habituated, so they still consider us as part of the wild, that whatever we do, it doesn't spook them anyhow. So they are adapted to having us move around, and because we don't disturb them. So you see, animals that have not been that have not had bad association with people, they would be relaxed every time you see them. So we get very close to a point where even when if you're not carrying a big camera or the telephoto lenses that you use in your phone, you are able to take a picture with your phone, and it will come out crystal clear. So this is another activity. This one is a nature walk. This is basically targeting stuff that you might miss when you're driving or boating. As we're looking for small stuff that you might find. The walk is mainly not for finding wildlife. Should you encounter one, you can view it and move out before they know you are there. I mean, we've had close encounters with elephants, and obviously, if you have cover, you're safe to stick around. They'll move away from you. So, as I'm sure I was probably talking about treks or something, but of course they're overnight. This is in the morning. You can still see that we all geared up, trying to keep warm, but because of the walk, we slowly shed off the layers. So our walks are usually they're not that long, and it's all on flat ground. It's a bit uneven, but it's easily accessible on foot. Most people can definitely they can be able to walk through those paths and enjoy the activity. It usually takes about an hour to 2 hours, depending on how much is happening out there. All right. So then, so again, the other thing is just the boat cruise that you get to do. So I know there was something else that came through that I needed to look into. It's the the question that came up before the webinar started. It's so I'm going to get to questions because I've covered the part on activities, and if you have any other questions, folks, you're welcome to ask in the meantime. And first question that I had was going out to the bathroom out in the bush. Yes, you are more than welcome to use the bathrooms when you're out there. Before you go out, we usually would walk around to make sure the area is safe. Though, yes, I've had an issue where we were tracking lions and then we never got a chance to find these lions until we stopped for coffee in the morning, and then one of the guests said, "Okay, I want to use the bush." So we walked out. I went behind the mound to make sure it's all safe. only to for her to find a lioness sleeping at the back of the mound. But yeah, we were all safe. She managed to run back to notify us that there's lions. The lions we were looking for were actually sleeping on the other side. So we got back into the vehicle and went out to see them. So, but yeah, the roads are they're very drivable, and I mean visibility this time of the year is very good. That and a lot of our trees are deciduous, so the have been deciduous, and they are all they shed off all their leaves, so that keeps us going. And then so like I was saying, then the other question was, we able to charge phones? Folks, like I've mentioned, they're trying to be eco-friendly. All of our camps are running on solar, and this is to provide power throughout 24/7. And then there's a backup generator in terms of times when it's rainy season. That's when we would utilize utilize the generator, but in most cases we are running on solar. So charging points, they are in the rooms when you're on siesta. You can use that, and then the main area as well is a plug point where you can charge your your cameras, your torches, your hearing earbuds, or your hearing aids. No, not hearing aids, but your earpods. You can charge them from there. That's not a problem at all. So you are always safe any time of the day with charging, and lights. Lights are all good in any case. And then the other question was, do we supply extra blankets at night for some of us that are cold? Yes, winter. We know how cold it can be. South Africa is not always hot. Yes, it can be very cold. So we do. In winter, the camp will take out all their warm stuff and they can be utilized in the room. I'll tell you, since I've been out on these trips, I've never had an issue where a guest have come to me to inform me that they were cold at night. They would rather be hot to reduce the layers that they were supplied with or offered. And then the beds. The other question was, I need a soft bed to sleep in. Can I bring a sleeping pad, size of a rolled up sleeping bag? Yeah, like I was saying, the planes that we use are very small. So the essentials that we're going to use on the trip, we rather um, make space for that. So you'll be allowed 44 pounds of weight of your duffel bag. So you don't want to go overweight because our planes are very small. So instead, our beds also, again, they are very comfortable. If you need another soft layer to be put up, the camp can always organize that. So worry less on that. You don't have to bring no sleeping pad. Your bed will be more comfortable that you wouldn't want to come out of it once you go to sleep. Here's the thing with winter, winter when you go to bed, the cold, but then your layers are warm that in the morning you don't want to come out. But if you plan to take a shower, you go into the shower and you don't want to come out because you're too warm. So our beds are very that comfortable. Then another question, Brooke, you can go on the next slide, just pictures of the animals that we see out there. And then all right, cool. Yeah, those are the four questions that I've had. I don't know if you folks have any other questions that you might want to ask now, and then I'll be in a position to answer that. If not, then Brooke is there. She can add to anything that you might might need help with. Like I say, Native office is always available on 24-hour clock. So should you need any other clarification, just tap the office anytime. And then 60 days prior to your travel, the traveling pack will be sent to you. So for other stuff, you can refer to that. There's also an issue about the money the money issue. So you have to the tipping, as you know, we do a lot of online tipping, and then you can have cash for your other personal use within the camp. And then if you're comfortable carrying cash, again, it's still up to you. But yes, the camps have got gift shops where you can purchase stuff, but also they allow credit cards. All right, Brooke, back to you there on your end.
All right, Lemmy, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for that. We do have some really good questions that have come on in. So let's just take
Okay.
some time and go through those if you're ready.
All right, cool stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So could you elaborate a little bit further on the duffel bags? Is it okay if they have wheels?
Okay. Duffel bags. It's best. If they have wheels, it should be obviously they will have a hard lining at the bottom. If it's just that one side, it should be fine, but it shouldn't be a big size bag. If you can can have a bag the size of what I had mentioned earlier. That's 54-inch long bag, then you're fine. So preferably soft lining, which you can get either from NetApp, REI store, or Amazon. They have those type of bags. Some so the the size for the check bag is usually about 28 inches long, 14 inches wide, and about 12 inches high. So ones with a hard surface usually it's difficult for them to push them into the pod. Yeah, so of which if we come across such a situation, we'll have to maybe try and um, um, borrow you something that's very soft, that's soft-sided. So those are fine. So soft-sided luggage with a hard side, they may not be accommodated.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Yes, the
Great
rolling
stuff.
duffels in the gear store, they're great. So, and also to anybody, if you have any specific questions that we don't get to, the concierge team will be more than happy to help. But we have some more in here, though. Let's keep
Okay.
going. Oh yeah, we have some great ones. So how could you elaborate, Lemmy, a little further on what wintertime means? What months are those are considered wintertime? And what is the average temperature that people can expect if they're traveling during the winter?
All right. Oh, great. Good question there, Brooke. Winter is from May through to July. So July is considered to be our coldest month. So May is usually mild, but it can be cold in the morning. Talking about 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit in the morning. And then during the day, it goes up to 60, and then it drops again to about 50. Then the nights, yes, might drop to 40. So then June would range between uh, 30, 38 to 45. And then the other thing this year, if you're traveling this year, our meteorological cycle just warned that we might have temperatures below normal. So that means we might get close to 32, maybe 33. This maybe in the next month to come. That's in June, July. So we're talking 30, 32, between 32 and 40. That's what a typical morning would be like. But yes, again, we'll still keep you warm should it be too cold for you. We'll do everything in our power to keep you warm. But the days, yes, it warms up from about midday to about 45 to 50 degrees. You see yourself also starting to shed off some layers. So in terms of your gear, the long johns, those will be very useful. They come in handy during winter. And then uh, track pants, all that, and then most of the gear you get within the netted gear store. That would be very helpful if you can bring such.
Yeah,
All
perfect.
right.
And also, our trip owner's on, as she said, she just informed me that the rolling duffels in the gear store are actually too big. So sorry for that,
Yeah.
everyone. Just go ahead and go by the dimensions that are in your pre-departure briefing. Those will work great for you. Those planes are little, but they are amazing to get into the bush.
Mhm.
All right, let's keep going. This is a
All
good
right.
question. How does
All right.
CPAP machines work? Are there electricity in the tents for anybody who needs to bring a CPAP?
Yes. Yes, we've had that. CPAP machines are also welcome anytime, any day. We have PowerPoints. If we need an extension, the camp will be able to provide that, an extension to get it closer to the bed. But in most of our camps, the electrical appliances are much closer to the bed that you can plug in and then utilize it all night. So recommended adapters is the South African adapter or UK adapter that works here, which is all round, and then you can have an adapter to your preferred adapter that you'll be carrying. So yes, you can utilize that anytime, any day.
Great. And on a similar theme, do any of the
Hmm.
camps have Wi-Fi or internet?
Yeah, we used to talk about this thing about disconnecting to connect with nature. But I mean, we live in a world where things are moving so fast that some people come in and they still want to keep up with what's going on back home. So the camps have taken a step to introduce Wi-Fi in the camps. So Wi-Fi usually it's in the rooms. When you're out at your own time, you can access Wi-Fi. But then uh, when you're back at the main area, which is the common area, if there's no access to Wi-Fi. So only one camp, which is usually our first camp in Auckland, is you have Wi-Fi at the main area and nothing in the rooms. But I think it's gonna change very soon. Just bear in mind, it's usually more active in the rooms than at the main area.
Perfect. And we have a great wildlife question here. On this
Oh
particular
yeah,
itinerary, is it possible to see cheetah or wild dogs?
this itinerary, folks, is it's a beautiful itinerary. It's very diverse. There's so much contrast in it. Yeah, so the areas we cover, um, like from the Menokwana where you catch the longest migration of zebras, then you come up into the Okavango Delta where there's diverse wildlife, the predators. So at Natab Explorer Camp and Little Sable, there is a high chance that you might see any of those two. If you miss them at the second camp, you might catch them at the last camp. So anything that you miss at the first or second, you might catch at the last camp. So there is a chance to see that at the Natab Explorer Camp in the Okavango Delta, or to see them at Little Sable or Sable Alley Camp. And then if your trip is a family Botswana family trip, which goes up to the salt pans. Also, that's a good area for cheetah. It's more vast open land, so you might get a chance to see a cheetah in that region. Yeah, great one.
Fantastic. Yes, two of my favorite species. I could talk about cheetahs and wild dogs all
Uh-huh.
day.
Amazing. Yeah, those are cool. Very very nice to see all the time. Dogs always active, doing something. But when you're following dogs, you gotta be fast. If you're not fast, you're not gonna catch them.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
fantastic memories in that area with those two species. All right, this is the last question I will ask you, Lemmy. If somebody
Okay.
wants to purchase souvenirs on their trip, is there a place for them to do that? And if they would purchase a bigger one, like a basket or something like that, is that possible with the planes? So yeah, two-part question there, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yes. The camps have got their mini gift shops. So baskets weaved by the staff within the camp. So that would be wow. They'll be very delighted to have something of their own being sold. So you are welcome to do that. And if it's something large that you can arrange with the camp and or NATAB also actually even helps a lot in this one. It can be shipped and then the NATAB office in Boulder would send it to wherever you'll be coming from. So the smaller ones like baskets, you can pack them in your bag and yes, they won't be checked and there are no restrictions on that to reach your home.
Well,
But
fantastic.
yeah. Mhm.
No, that was great, Lemmy. That's the last question I will ask you today. So if you want to go ahead and give us any last closing comments.
Oh yeah. All right, folks. Thank you. And I'm sitting here and looking forward to seeing you up on this adventure. It's always fun to be out there to see how all these animals work. Um, so we look forward to seeing you and enjoy the areas within here. And just for the record, the Okavango Delta loads of water, so expect to see the beauty of this area When you come in from May, already the flood waters have started coming in. Usually they start to show up in May, but April, some parts of the Delta are filling up. The Delta Explorer camp up in the north is already experiencing loads of waters from the Angolan highlands. So we can't wait to have you on these trips and have fun with you. And you can take memories and go back home with something that you is worth living for. Thank you.
Wow, so exciting, Lemmy. That's great to hear about the waters. Oh, I wish I was joining all of you going on this trip. Remember, if you are booked and you have additional questions, the concierge team would be more than happy to help. And if you're interested in booking this trip or learning more, your adventure specialist would be more than happy to help as well. The whole team at the office are ready to chat with you. But again, thank you, Lemmy. And I would like to thank everybody who tuned in.
Awesome.
Join us tomorrow for our next daily dose of nature. You can check out this week's lineup, including registration links, on our website at nathab.com/webinars. We did record today's
Awesome.
presentation, and we will have the replay available on our website soon. With that, I will conclude the webinar. Goodbye, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye bye. All right. Cool stuff.